On the 1st of September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, the United Kingdom and France declared war on Germany. Over the next 10 months, Hitler, incredibly, had invaded Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Then by the 15th of June 1940, France had fallen, and the British took the decision not to defend the Channel Islands. There was little to be gained by either side possessing them, apart from bragging rights for Mr. Hitler having invaded a little piece of British territory. Between the 20th and 23rd of June, many boats came to Guernsey to allow evacuation. There were mixed messages surrounding the evacuation, so in the end, only 5,000 children and 12,000 adults were evacuated out of a population of 42,000. Children were mostly placed into homes in the north of England. There are many stories of good times had whilst away, as well as downright awful times. For many families, it was extremely difficult, even after the war, when children came home speaking English to their families who only spoke Guernsey French. Unfortunately, the British didn't declare the islands as demilitarised, so on the 28th of June 1940, the Nazis bombed the harbours of St. Peter Port and St. Helier. In Guernsey's St. Peter Port, tomato trucks lined up along the quay awaiting the ferry were mistaken for a military convoy and bore the brunt of the attack that saw the death of 34 people. My Uncle John was there. As he dived for cover, he was hit by shrapnel, which he lived with for the rest of his life. On the 30th of June 1940, Nazi forces invaded Guernsey. Nobody knew at the time how long they'd be here. It turned out to be 5 years. And while they were here, they weren't just sitting on their laurels. They built huge amounts of defensive infrastructure, like this battery at Plymore Point. Not the biggest that was on the island by a long stretch, but there's a significant network of bunkers and tunnels and groundworks. It's quite astonishing to walk around, sobering, knowing that much of this was built by slave labour. But it is quite astonishing what they did on the island in that time. This is Langle Tower, one of the many observation towers that the Germans built. Probably covers 4 stories, possibly 5, I'm not entirely sure. But come on in, I'll show you around. On the 15th of September 1942, Germany issued a deportation order in retaliation for British and Russian forces arresting German citizens in Persia, and also in retaliation for British commando raids on Guernsey and Sark. In total, 1,003 men, women and children were deported from Guernsey and Sark, and this plaque at the harbour remembers the 16 that never came home. After 5 years of occupation, conditions in the island were dire. Civilians and occupying forces were on the point of starvation. On the 8th of May, speaking on the radio from London, Winston Churchill said, "And today our dear islands will also be freed." The following day, 9th of May 1945, Guernsey was liberated, and the following day, the 10th, Sark was liberated. Huge crowds came down into town to welcome the British soldiers and to see the expulsion of the German soldiers once and for all. Every anniversary is now celebrated with a huge Liberation Day parade and funfair and activities across the island. This year is the 75th anniversary, but sadly, coronavirus has put paid to all public gatherings. So across the island, people are displaying flags and bunting as a sign of patriotism and an expression of freedom. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I wish you all a very happy liberation.